Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Great to have you. Hey, smash the like button if you enjoy this content and share with your family and friends. Today, we're going to talk about a little area outside of LA County or within LA County, right outside of LA, called Pacific Palisades. There's a resident there. Her name is Miss Darvage, Rachel Darvage, a resident there. She recently evacuated from Pacific Palisades community and in a hotel with her toddler 3-year-old. And you can hear it in her voice. She rips in to LA Mayor Karen Bass, who happened to be out of the country while parts of LA County, are burnt to a crisp, still burning. The fires that broke out in those areas, I think it's 4 now, 0% contained, 0% contained. And Rachel Darvich, rips into the LA mayor for not being present, not having enough foresight to mitigate these fires that keep happening every year, not giving specific instructions to the residents in the areas, to the citizens in the area that are affected by these fires. Instead, she went to Ghana for an inauguration for a public official out there in that country in Africa. So Ms. Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, may be on her way back to LA, but as you can clearly see, there is no direction when it comes to California as a whole, as a state. And then when you look at the specific counties, there's further lack of direction when it comes to national emergencies or specific emergencies that are affecting communities. Without any further ado, we are going to get into this video.
Let's bring in Rachel Darvish, who evacuated from her home in the Pacific Palisades after this fire spread to her backyard. And Rachel, thank you so much for joining us in what I imagine to be a truly traumatizing situation. Thankfully, you are safe in a hotel now, but tell us what happened and what you saw that led you to evacuate.
Understatement. What I saw was something that I don't think anyone ever dreams of seeing, even in their dreams, I think. It was just literally a perfect day in Pacific Palisades. We live in a dream community, which unfortunately doesn't exist, I think, anymore. My daughter went to her first day of preschool. After the break, everyone was excited. I came home, put on classical music, typical, I think, of Titanic. I put on classical music, tried to start working, and as soon as I started working, the notification came in saying there was a fire. And I can't even tell you how quickly I walked to the front of the house and saw that the fire had come to our gate. We live in a gated community there in the Palisades. And that was the moment I realized, surreal. It's real. And after being born and raised in the Palisades, having seen numerous evacuations, having been through earthquakes, fires, whatever you can say, we've been through it all. This was something I was never expecting. And I'm very happy to say I'm okay. But after what we've been through, I don't know why. I don't know why I have to be in a hotel room. I don't know why this had to happen to this extent, but we'll get to that at some point, I think.
Rachel, how tough was it to get out of the Palisades with so many others trying to do the exact same thing? We've seen these images of cars stranded because they just couldn't go. There was traffic. They couldn't move. So people just abandoned their cars. How tough was it to get out?
It was worse than what you saw. I mean, it was unbelievable sitting there in one lane, basically going in and out of places where there should have been some forethought, I think. We sat in just people were getting out of their cars to run away from the fire. So I was in a position that I don't think any one of us, we've seen war zones on TV, we see fires on TV. This was the first time this little community who sort of kind of keeps to itself and is happy has had to face something like this. But you bring up something that was, I think, more difficult than seeing the fire. It was really, how do I get out of this? That was baffling to me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, and that's so scary. And we I've seen the images of cars that are left on the highway, and because people had to run because there was just so much traffic, and then those cars had to be bulldozed so that first responders could get in and respond to the fires. I mean,
look at that picture, man. That is horrifying. Look at that. Look at that. Lighting up the night sky with fires.
From an emotional standpoint, Rachel, I can't imagine what you're going through right now. You're a lawyer. You've worked hard all of your life to build, your dream. I'm sure your home is a beautiful place. It's your sanctuary, and for it to just be potentially gone in a blink of an eye is just such a worst case scenario. Do you know if your house is still standing? And just from an emotional standpoint, like I said, how are you feeling right now?
It's a great question. I think for those of us that have children, or for those of us that have other people who are relying on you, we put on a tough face and we move forward. We have to pretend like nothing's happened. I don't know if our house is still there. What I can tell you is I have a photo of our neighbor's house, which is gone. I have a photo of the neighbor's house across the street, which is gone. I don't know if our house is there, but I can tell you that we're okay. And all I know is that the people that are in the Palisades, I hope that they are safe. But we have questions. I know where I am right now, but I don't know where my mayor was when this was happening.
She didn't know where she didn't know where her mayor was. She's referring to the LA mayor, Karen Bass.
Rachel, the other thing
I do know now where she was, but I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. I spend my life worrying about when the earthquakes come, when the Santa Ana winds come. I plan my trips around this. If I'm in charge, I'm going to figure out how people need to get in and out of a city like Pacific Palisades. If I'm in charge, I'm going to tell you. I care about you. I'm going to tell you where the roads are to get from here to there. Nobody told us. Nobody told us where to go, what to do. I didn't even have an evacuation order. The video that you, I hope, see, we did not have an evacuation order at that time. So I love the fire department. I love our fire personnel. We need more. Where were they?
Rachel,
I don't know where they were. And I can tell you, I'm on group chats with my daughter's preschool parents. Probably 7 out of the 15 in our classroom all lost homes.
Wow.
And so you ask about emotional toll. I can't even answer that question yet. I can still sit here with a smile because I don't know what's going on. I can still sit here, but I don't know. The answer to what's the emotional toll that I'm going through right now, I don't know. And 50 years, 49 for me of being born and raised in the Palisades, hardworking family. Everyone who lives in the Palisades is there because they love the Palisades. And for someone to be in charge of my town, where were you?
You're certainly
Where were you when the decisions should have been made on how to get in and out of places? When the fire, I wish she were sitting across from me to answer these questions. She's not. And so I don't have an answer for you what my emotional toll is today, because I can tell you what the weather patterns are. Your meteorologist can tell you. If you live here and you run a city, figure it out. If you want to be the mayor of a city like Los Angeles, you're in charge of some really important things.
Hey, be sure to smash the like button if you enjoying this content so far. So basically, she laid out, hey, if you're going to be the mayor of Los Angeles, you need to take the goods and the bads. Excuse my grammar here. You need to take the ups and downs of being a big city mayor. It's not enough to become the first black mayor of a big city, or maybe the second, or maybe the third black person to be the mayor of Los Angeles. But race doesn't matter at this point. You got folks on MSNBC like Simone Sanders talking about, why aren't there more black women in Congress? Why aren't there more black women in prominent positions throughout the United States? This is why. you know, I'm all about electing the person that is going to do the job. Karen Bass did not do her job. She went to Ghana to schmooze with whatever Africans, powerful Africans that were out there, and thumbed her nose to her own citizens that live in a city that she is the mayor of. Very disgusting.
And you just let it go.
On a screen right now, we're looking at one of the other fires there. This one in Sylmar, significantly to the north of you there, Rachel. But I want to talk about something that you mentioned before you discussed the questions of the mayor, which certainly are valid. We need answers. But you mentioned the community. And I think it's important to note that the Palisades, while there are very nice homes, it is not filled with streets of Hollywood celebs like you might imagine when you hear Los Angeles. You made this point. It is a special community. It's a little enclave. It's regular Americans like you with families working hard every day. My best friend had to evacuate last night. He told me his sister's house is gone, and they're one of those Palisades family, like you mentioned, like you are, that's been there for generations. They grow in this community, their kids, their grandkids. Describe more of this sense of community in the Palisades that you know, the Palisades that you love.
So, born and raised there, 49 years, to parents who are immigrants who became success stories. Myself, I've done well, only because of where we come from. And it is the Palisades. It's the people there. My daughter is able to grow up in was able to grow up in the Palisades. She's 3 years old. She's going to a school that is the oldest institution in the Palisades, Methodist preschool. It was across the street from the elementary school I went to. All I can say is the people that I know that are either in a hotel or in one of the fancy houses or in one of the non-fancy houses or what. That's not what the Palisades was ever about. We were a community that was made up of people who loved being there. And if you happen to be a celebrity, well, great. No one took your picture when you came to the Palisades. You were just like every one of us. We're not interested in who you are. We're interested in what you do for us as a community. Our mayor, Steve Gutenberg, was driving cars, pushing cars out of the one lane that we have to get in and out of a particular enclave in the Palisades. We fought. We all did. We helped each other. We will continue to help each other. I know we will. I know, because the people I'm talking to at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're still helping each other. And I hope anyone who needs help knows who to call, where to call. The Palisades, you know who we are. Please come to us right now, because I've never seen us look like this before. And I can tell you another thing. The people who live in the Palisades have helped people who live across this country, who've lived across the world. Please come and help us. I've never seen this town full of such great people, such contributors to the world I don't know how we're all going to come together, but we're going to.
Rachel,
we have to.
You were a great message there, and it is so true. I mean, California is, of course, used to wildfires, but this is on another level, something else entirely. You were just talking about a lack of response from local officials, the mayor of Los Angeles. There are also reports of water pressure issues, that firefighters were trying to put out fires, but there was a lack of water because of water pressure, which is an infrastructure issue. Have you heard that locally? Does that surprise you? What's your reaction to that?
If Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, and Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, if they spent more time worrying about citizens who are paying high, exorbitant taxes to cover down on California's infrastructure needs, if they spent more time focusing on legal taxpayers who are legally living there, instead of paying and using resources for illegal immigration, then maybe they would have some money to build up their infrastructure to make sure that the reservoir that towns and cities and stuff depend on when there's fires, they turn the fire hydrant on, then there could be water coming out of those fire hydrants. But if you don't invest in infrastructure, if you let your reservoir full of water run dry, then there's no water to fight fires. And these seasonal patterns happen every year. There's, the dry season, the wet season, the high wind season coming from Santa Ana. These fires occur around the same time every year. So where was the planning?
It doesn't surprise me that you say that. We had a horrible weather situation last year where we were out of power and electricity and phone lines for about 30 days. Why is that happening? Why did that happen in the first place? I don't know if the water supply was what you're representing, but I believe it. And I'll tell you why, because it goes back to, you got to know the community that you are representing. If you don't get on an airplane and come back here. Don't come back and help us if you can't help us.
Don't come back here, Karen Bass, because if your leadership was missing prior to the fires happening, and we don't know how these fires happened, if your leadership was missing during the fires happening, and it's zero containment right now for these fires. Don't come back after the fact saying, hey, here's my leadership. Please be on my side. Please let's work together. No, stay your ass in Ghana and we'll elect someone who is going to do the job for the citizens in LA.
What was in West Africa that required you to be there when the weather was shifting the way it was? And if the water pressure is what it is, why are these poor firefighters risking their lives because government officials who somebody elected or some people elected, why are those poor firefighters not given the tools to fight the fires for us?
To be clear, you're referring...
I wish I could have this conversation with her. I just can't.
You're referring to her being the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, who's currently...
of Los Angeles.
She's currently in Ghana on a trip to see the inauguration of another leader there. And you do mention the water pressure, like Carly said. Remember a few years ago...
What the hell is she doing in Ghana when she's the mayor of LA? I don't understand the connection.
UCLA, right around UCLA, they dumped so many thousands, millions of gallons of water, and there was a pressure situation. But the point was, it destroyed pressure in the pipes for this very kind of need when you need to fight fires.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it makes no sense why they did it. There were a lot of people questioning it at the time. Rachel, we can't imagine what you're going through, but we are praying for you, your preschooler, your entire family during this horrific time. We will be watching. Please keep us posted.
Yeah.
We're praying.
And we hope your house is still standing.
Thank
Rachel,
you. We appreciate your prayers.
God
we appreciate
you.
your thoughts. We appreciate anything that you have to help support our community.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Right. So you got Simone Sanders on MSNBC. I said this before. Why don't we see more black women in leadership roles? Why don't we see more black women in Congress and stuff like that? Well, the reason why you don't see as many black women, black men in Congress is because maybe they lack the expertise. Maybe they lack the networking. Maybe they lack the funding to run for office. Maybe they lack the background in coming into a high-profile billet, such as mayor, governor, vice president, president, a member of the Senate, a member of the U.S. House, right? We need to stop identity politics. And I got to tell you, every county in California needs to be looking at this. Get identity politics out of your head. Look at the person's background, not their skin color. Look at the way the person that you're about to elect, look at their history of if they serve some time in Congress, if they serve some time in the U.S. House of Representatives or U.S. Senate, or even state House and Senate. Look at their voting patterns. Are they, the way that they vote on legislation, is the legislation that they're voting on for the people of whatever region you're representing or they represent it, right? You have to look at the background of these people and stop simply voting for people because they're black or because they're a woman or because they're white or whatever case is. Look at the person's work, and it clearly shows that Karen Bass was not up to the task of being mayor of LA. Hey, remember to smash the like button and share this video if you deem necessary, so that we can spread this information and really think long and hard about who we are voting for. And I really hope that Karen Bass gets voted out. All right, smash the like button. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.